Hey guys, we're going to go over your Saxon 114 together, and I want you to pause it as you need to and rewind it as you need to, okay? Before we start, we need to talk about centimeters and millimeters on our ruler. So up to now, we've been using mostly the inch side of our ruler, and there are 12 inches in our ruler, and it's about the length of a child's thumb. But now we're going to start using this part of our ruler, the centimeter. And we always talked about on our body, a centimeter was about the width of our finger. Well, inside of a centimeter are the millimeters. And the prefix milli means many and little, teeny, teeny, tiny unit of measure. So inside of a centimeter, which is already pretty small, these are the centimeters where the numbers are. These little tiny hash marks in between are the millimeters. And inside of every centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. So if I'm counting millimeters, I would count my ruler like this: 10, 20, 30, 40. So if I have 4 centimeters, which is the width of my finger, then I have 40 millimeters, because inside of every centimeter there are 10 little tiny millimeter hash marks. So on number 1, they asked me to draw a 61 millimeter line segment. Well, I know that 6 sets of 10 is a centimeter, and then one more little millimeter. So 61 millimeters is 6 centimeters and 1 single millimeter. So it would be about this length. So I took what I knew about 60 milliliters or millimeters being 6 centimeters, because inside of every centimeter is 10 millimeters. So I went to the 6 centimeters mark for the 60, and then one more little hash mark to get to 61. On number 2, it says Michael had 750 pennies, so I organized that in my workspace. He gave his sister 175 pennies, so I put that in a visual form. How many pennies does Michael have left? Anytime we're talking about leftovers, we're doing subtraction. We're finding a difference. So I'm taking the 750 that Michael started with. I'm taking out the 175 that he gave to his sister. So I wrote that out to the side, and I had to do regrouping. You actually have to regroup twice, because we couldn't do 0 minus 5. So we borrowed a set of 10, and we did 10 minus 5 is 5. But then when we were here, we had 4 minus 7. The bottom was bigger than the top, so we had to borrow again, and then we were able to end up with 575 pennies left. On number 2, they wanted us to measure this line segment, and they're named by their endpoints. This is line segment AB. They wanted us to measure it in millimeters. So I knew that the 2 full centimeters was 20 millimeters worth. And then it was half of another centimeter, which would have been 5 millimeters. And then one more little hash mark, so it's 26 millimeters long. On number 3, this angle is closed much tighter than a 90 degree or a right angle, so it's an acute angle. On this one, I actually had to turn my paper to see it, and it's open wider than a right angle, so it's obtuse. And because they're showing me that this indeed meets at a square corner, I know this is a right angle. On number 4, there's a video where we talk about transformations, where we talk about translation, rotation, reflection. So they want you to show if this A rotates on this point, what will it look like at each position? So if the A rotates sideways, then it's going to rotate upside down. Then it's going to rotate with the head facing to the left, and then it's back again. So we're just showing that A rotating around and what it would look like in each position. On number 5, I put my place value house around this number. So 5 sets of 100 means 500. 4 sets of 10 means 40, and then 2 singles. So it would be this one here, 500 plus 40 plus 2 singles. On number 6, they're asking what fractional part of the beads is black. So I just reminded myself that a fraction is part over whole. 3 parts of the 7 beads in the whole thing are black. So 3/7 of the beads are black. On number 7, 4 squared, or 4 to the 2nd power, means 4 times 4. So this side's value is 16. And then when we divide by 10, however many zeros, there's 1 0 in 10, so I take a 0 off. So 130 divided by 10 is 13. So I should have my greater than symbol facing that 16. 6 tens means 60 plus 12 ones. Put those together and this side's value is 72. And 9 times 7 is 63. So I should have my greater than symbol open towards the 72. On number 1, it says Sarah had 620 pennies. So I've made that visual in my workspace. She gave her brother 265 pennies. How many pennies does Sarah have left? Finding leftovers is usually means subtraction. So 620 that Sarah started with, take out the 265 she gave her sister. And I'm going to show this worked because we have to regroup twice. We can't do 0 minus 5. If the bottom is bigger than top, to my neighbor I will hop. Borrow from the left, carry to the right. 10 minus 5 is 5, but when I get here, I can't do 1 minus 6. I've got to borrow again. If the bottom is bigger than top, to my neighbor I will hop. I borrow it from the left and carry to the right. 11 minus 6 is 5, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So she ends up with 355 pennies left over after what she gave her brother. On number 2, MM is the symbol for millimeter, and milli means teeny, teeny, tiny, so it's the little tiny hash marks in between the centimeters. And how many of these little hash marks are inside of a centimeter? 10. So we're going to find the best estimate for the length. So when I line my ruler up here, I see that it's about 3 centimeters. And inside of every centimeter is a set of 10 millimeters. So about 30 millimeters would be a good estimate for the length of line segment EF. On number 3, they're showing me that this does meet at a perfect square corner, or 90 degrees. So this is a right angle. This is closed much tighter than a right angle would be, so it's acute. This one is open much wider than a right angle would be, so it's obtuse. On number 4, they want us to show what the letter T would look like as it rotates around. So it would start straight up, and then it would rotate onto its side. Then it would rotate again and be upside down. Then it would rotate again and be sideways towards the left. On number 5, which of the following shows this number in expanded form? So when we put this in the place value house, ones, tens, hundreds, 7 sets of 100 is 700. 1 set of 10 is 10, and then 9 singles. So its expanded form would be this one is the best fit. 700, 1 set of 10, and 9 singles. On number 6, what fractional part of the beads is white? Fractions are part over whole. So 4 parts of the 7 beads in the whole model are white. So 4/7 of the beads are white. On number 7, when we multiply by 10, we stick 1 0 on the end. But when we divide by 10, we take that many zeros off. So 14 divided by 10, or 140 divided by 10 is 14. And 7 squared means 7 times 7 is 49. So we should have our less than symbol open to the 49. And on this side, 4 times 9 is 36. 2 sets of 10 means 20, and then I add in the 14 ones. This side's value is 34, so we should have our greater than symbol open towards the 36.